You know the look. That look of pure, unadulterated misery and hope. Your cat sits by the table as if they haven't eaten in at least a week. They aren't misbehaving. They aren't pawing at your plate. They are simply staring. And that hypnosis works. Your hand automatically reaches out to break off a piece of chicken or share a spoonful of yogurt. But here is the paradox. In that exact moment, our love can become an invisible enemy to our pets. Today, we're going to break down why generosity at the dinner table isn't actually care. It's a risk. And we'll figure out how to treat your feline friend so that they thank you with their health, not just a purr. Welcome back, friends. You are on the channel where we learn to understand those who walk by themselves. The topic of food is the most heated debate in the world of cat lovers. We humans are social creatures. For us, food is a ritual, it's communication, it's a way to show affection. And it seems logical to transfer this language of love to our cats. We think, if it's tasty to me, it must be tasty to him. But biology is unforgiving. We and our fluffy companions live in parallel food universes. Humans are omnivores, but a cat is a perfect biological hunting machine, an obligate carnivore. This means their metabolism is designed exclusively for meat. And what is a healthy breakfast for us can cause a serious system failure for them. Today, we won't just be banning things. We will understand why it works this way, we'll dispel myths about milk and fish, and we'll compile a list of safe treats. So, get comfortable. Let's start with the basics. Why can't a cat be a vegetarian or a lover of grains? It's all about evolution. In the wild, a cat's menu is boring but effective. Mice, birds, small game. They only get plant-based food in one form, semi-digested from the stomach of their prey. These are tiny doses. Cats almost entirely lack the special enzymes needed to break down complex carbohydrates. For example, human saliva has amylase. It starts digesting a bun while you are still chewing it. Cats do not have amylase in their saliva. Therefore, when you give a cat pasta, corn, or a piece of pizza, their pancreas experiences colossal stress trying to figure out what to do with it. If you see corn or wheat listed first on a bag of cheap food, know that this is just filler for a predator. And home experiments with fruits like grapes can end in toxic shock. Remember, a cat shouldn't finish your salad, even if they ask very politely. But if salads are fairly obvious, what about the product we see in every children's book about kittens? A saucer of milk. This image is hardwired into our consciousness by cartoons and fairy tales. It seems that denying a cat milk is a crime against childhood. However, reality is harsher. Most adult cats lose the ability to digest lactose, milk sugar. The production of the enzyme lactase simply switches off as they grow up. The result of such a treat is often predictable but unpleasant: bloating, diarrhea, vomiting. A cat might drink milk with pleasure because they are attracted to the fat and the smell, but the consequences will hit a couple of hours later, likely when you're already asleep. Are there exceptions? Yes. Fermented milk products. In plain yogurt or kefir, the lactose has already been partially processed by bacteria. Want to make them happy? Give them a teaspoon of plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt, but not milk. Save the milk for your coffee. So, we've sorted out the milk. Now let's look at your dinner plate. That is where the big three enemies of cat health are hiding. We love our food tasty, salted, peppered, fried to a crisp. For a cat, however, salt, spices, and excess fat are a strike against two targets at once: the kidneys and the liver. Take, for example, a small piece of sausage or cheese. For us, it's a light snack. For a 9-pound cat, that piece is equivalent, in terms of salt and spices, to you eating an entire stick of salami in one sitting. Kidneys are the weak point of felines. By nature, they drink very little water, so their urine is highly concentrated. Excess salt from your food provokes the formation of sand and stones, urinary stone disease. This is especially critical for male cats, and fried and fatty foods are a direct path to pancreatitis. A cat's liver simply cannot cope with such loads the way a human liver can. The conclusion is simple. Sausages, hot dogs, smoked meats. These are strictly taboo. They aren't treats, they are ticking time bombs. And here you might ask, okay, junk food is out, but surely soup is healthy and hydrating. Let's see what's wrong with grandma's soup. In our culture, soup is synonymous with health. Liquid, hot, good for the stomach. But cat soup and human soup are different dishes. Our soup contains onions and garlic, in the base or the broth. For cats, onions and garlic are toxic in any form, boiled, fried, or dried. They destroy red blood cells in the animal's blood, causing anemia. Our soup has salt, pepper, and bay leaves. Therefore, when you pour your cat some borscht or chicken noodle soup from your table, you aren't giving them healthy hydration, but a cocktail of toxins and salt. What should you do? Cats can and should consume liquid, but it must be pure broth. No salt, no vegetables, just the water in which meat was boiled. That is a true health soup for a predator. We've talked so much about bans that it might seem like you can only feed a cat air. Of course not. Let's move on to the whitelist. If you want to add variety to your pet's menu or are preparing natural food for them, here is what you can use safely. First, meat. This is the foundation. Chicken, turkey, beef, rabbit. Ideally raw, but pre-frozen in the freezer for 2 to 3 days. The cold kills parasites. Second, organ meats. Chicken hearts or gizzards are a delicacy rich in taurine. Taurine is an amino acid without which a cat goes blind and suffers from heart disease. Third, eggs. An excellent source of protein. But there is a nuance. It is better to give a boiled egg. If raw, then only the yolk, as raw egg white is poorly digested and can destroy certain vitamins. And fourth, grains. As an additive, not a base. A little rice or oatmeal boiled in water without salt. This is an acceptable source of fiber. Note, all of this is without your participation in terms of spices. Tasty for a cat is the taste of blood and protein, not MSG. But let's be honest, sometimes we feed them not because they are hungry, but because they demand it. Let's go back to that look from the beginning of the video. Why does a well-fed cat who has a full bowl of premium food still beg for your sandwich? Most often it's not hunger. It is boredom or a social ritual. For a cat, your meal is an interesting event. Smells, sounds, movement. They want to participate. Furthermore, cats are genius trainers. By giving in once and offering a piece from the table, you reinforce a reflex. I meowed, I got a treat. Retraining them will be difficult. What can you do? Stick to a schedule. Feed the cat before you sit down to eat yourself. A fed predator is a lazy predator. Try to ignore the begging even though it's hard. Offer an alternative. If the cat is bored, food won't help. They need play. 5 minutes with a feather wand is better than a piece of ham. And plant a pot of cat grass. When the cat wants to chew something for company, let them chew their grass. It's good for digestion. Friends, love for a pet is measured not by the number of treats from the table, but by the years of healthy life they spend next to you. Human food is a minefield for a cat's body. Kidney stones, diabetes, liver problems. That is too high a price for a moment of weakness and a tossed piece of meat. Let your fluffy friend's bowl be filled with quality pet food or a balanced natural diet, and let dessert be your affection and attention. Believe me, a good game of catch the mouse is much more valuable to a cat than our dinner. Take care of your little predators. If this breakdown was useful, support us with a like. It helps us make more quality content. Let us know in the comments, what are the weirdest foods your cat has begged for? Cucumbers, melon, or maybe olives? We are very interested to read your stories. See you in the next video. Meow.